Before we begin, are you able to hear me? Not at all? How about now? Now? Okay. Sounds like I'm yelling, but as long as you can hear me, that's the most important part. Good morning and welcome to the Port Huron High School 5th Annual Fine Arts Festival. I cannot begin to tell you how proud I am to be able to stand in front of you this morning. We have so many talented young people here. I almost get teary-eyed thinking about it. You know, walking around and reading the poems that you've written, the stories, listening to the audio recordings, watching the video, looking at the artwork. It is unbelievable the talent that you have. And I just really trust that you all put it to best use throughout life because, boy, you are number one. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here today. I'd like to welcome the parents and friends of our young artists and writers that are here today. It's wonderful to see you, and thank you for deciding to spend the morning with us. Before we begin this morning, there are two very, very special people that I would like to thank. And the young woman that I want to thank, I don't believe is here in the building yet. Mrs. Layton-Sack, are you out there somewhere? Not yet. Okay, Mrs. Layton-Sack is going to be joining us a little bit later. Back in 1995, Mrs. Layton-Sack and Mr. Scott Magnuson got together and decided to create the Fine Arts Festival. And it's something that we've enjoyed every year after that, and I'm eternally grateful to them for doing that. Mr. Magnuson is a very special man. He's standing here to my left. Mr. Magnuson. Mr. Magnuson was going to set all of this up on Friday of last week, and unfortunately we did not have school that day. So Mr. Magnuson dedicated his entire weekend and countless hours since then to put this all together. And he deserves a big thank you, and his family probably does also. I have a long list of thank yous. The female counseling staff has been most supportive. Liz Vardy, Kira Bagley, Beth Wiley, Mitzi Dunges is back with us again in the building, Doris Stein, Andrea Malachi. Mr. Woleen is out there constantly offering positive encouragement and cheering us on. Cheryl Slingerland in the main office typed up all of the certificates that we're going to give out later, and she has graciously volunteered to retype any that may have misspelled names because Mr. Magnuson and I, in our hurry, may have made an error and given her the wrong information. So if you do have a problem with your certificate, be sure to return it to us, and we'll make sure that you have a proper one. Mrs. Malloy, Susie Malloy, that typed up all the checks. Lynn Rucker offering support. Our judges, every piece of writing, every piece of artwork had a minimum of 3 judges. Some pieces had 7 judges. And the reason we had so many is because of the quality of the work. And we had like 3 people tied for first place, and it was just a very painstaking task, simply because of the quality that you'd given us. Mrs. Sweeney and Company for the punch and the cookies. Liz has been with us this morning taking care of that. Mr. Dan Bauer and his staff, Mr. Jim Sass and his staff. The classroom teachers who offered encouragement to their students to enter the contest. I've had student helpers this week climbing up on high ladders, dangling things from the baskets. The patrons that have donated money and time, there's a board in the back, make sure you take a chance to look at that. And I know there are a ton of other people, but I can tell by the looks in the students' faces they're ready to get the ceremony on the road. So I think we'll do that now. Thank you. First person that I'd like to recognize this morning is the young man who designed this year's logo. Every festival begins with a logo, and Mr. Magnuson, through his art classes, offers the competition to his students, and students prepare logos. If you take a look on your way out, you'll see the entries from this year, and then as a staff, we get together and decide which one's going to be the logo for the year. Past winners in 1995, the first year of the festival, Alex Letourneau designed the logo. In 1996, it was Kate Armstrong Blanchard. In 1997, Nathaniel Kraft. Last year, 1998, was Dan Kennedy. And this year's winner was Mr. Brian Collins. Brian, would you please come up here? Brian, we've had this frame for you because I know this is something that's going to proudly hang in your bedroom right now, and probably someday when you have a home of your own, it's going to proudly hang there. So thank you for all that you've given to us in Port Huron High School. This year we had 182 student participants and 246 entries, which is absolutely outstanding. The other side of that is that we now have 182 people that need to come up here and claim a certificate. And again, if there's any problem with your certificate, please see either Mr. Magnuson or me after the ceremony. We'll take care of that for you. So, let the awards begin. Amy Aaron. Jamie Aaron. John Anderson. Sarah Andrews. Nick Armstrong. Emma Armstrong Blanchard. Kevin Arnett. Mrs. Wiley, would you mind coming toward the front of the room here? My arm's not quite long enough. Kevin Arnett. Nathan Arnold. Tina Aston. Nick Batchelor. Sean Baker. Alicia Balaska. Kristen Banker. Kelly Basnaw. Matt Barish. Kim Bloink. Amy Booth. Tiffany Bowen. Sarah Bowman. Sid Bradley. Tracy Bradshaw. Melissa Brandymore. David Brown. Crystal Brown. Kyra Brown. Ray Burgess. Dave Kapler. Alan Caldwell. Charlene Calvert. Andrea Cargo. Brian Carlisle. Keisha Castillo. Adrian Catlos. Jennifer Catron. Tina Chapman. Andrea Charlton. David Kemen. William Clark. Michael Clark. Roberta Cleland. Are you people afraid to come up here, or are we missing some students this morning? Stephanie Kobe. Brian Collins. Marty Cook. Nicole Costa. Jennifer Covey. Jamie Crago. Julie Crimmins. Nick Petcher, Greg Dazer, Candace DeGlopper, John Delgado, Whitney DeMond, Aaron Dibble, Tracy Dobbs, Samantha Dodge, Amanda Duncan, Robert Ellis, Micah Etzel, Sean Farquhar, Jabari Field, Fred Finch, Amy Fiore, Stephanie Flanagan, Adrienne Fleury, Carl Fries, Miguel Galarza, Manuel Gomez, Tony Gans, Jason Goodman, Garrett Grindle, Crystal Grossi, Natalie Haley, Amy Hart, Lindsay Hayish, Dawn Hedberg, Richard Height, Alicia Hinckley, Jeannie Hutchinson, Andy Jacobs, Justin Jefferson, Justin Jones, Deborah Kimmel, Danielle Kibble, Katie Clavon, Megan Kraft, Stacy Krebs, Jason Lefevre, Karen Langoff, Chad Langoff, Stacy Lawrence, Ron Lepak, Kelly Latarte, Melissa Livingston, Andrea Lofquist, Sarah Luddington, Jason McKay, Justin Mays, Taryn Malachi, Jeremy Marshall, Crystal Marusa, Angie McCallimore, Patrick McKeever, Jennifer McTaggart, Jermaine Miller, Brandy Miller, Brett Minnie, Jason Murin, Emily Mosier, Bridget Newton, Patrick O'Boyle. Robert O'Boyle. Colleen O'Connell. Chris O'Connor. Danielle Angie. Sean Patterson. Greg Patterson. Kelly Patterson. Lisa Patello. Amanda Perkins. Amber Pickelhoff. Angela Cole. Kim Post. Shannon Krzdakowski. Ambrose Puente. Joe Pung. Charles Quinn. Tim Raditz. Rebecca Rashin. Bethany Rasmussen. Jason Ray. Mike Recker. Robin Reed. Ashley Ream. Aaron Reinhardt. Kelly Rich. Melissa Robinson. Nicole Ruthier. Mike Rutherford. Elizabeth Rutledge. Jessica Ratowski. Amanda Sadler. Christina Schneider. Melinda Schuster. Nicole Selby. Tiffany Sennert. Matt Shannon. Katie Shaw. Autumn Scheimer. Kathy Simmons. Sarah Sisko. Kimberly Smalden. Jeremy Smith. Tara Smith. Brandy Standifer. Amanda Stein. Adam Stevens. Sean Stroby. Jason Summers. Jay Swinson. Amanda Tatro. Kim Thompson. Jody Van Beek. Joe Verbecki. Keith Vester. Dan Warsala. Stephen Webb. A proud artist. Stephanie Warsinski. John Wexler. Nathan Welsh. Brian Welsh. Tim Wessel. Ryan Westbrook. Josh Wilkins. Heather Wilson. Eric Wold. Kimberly Wolven. Eric Young. Thomas T.J. Young. And entrant number 182, Miss Justine Zahara. Thank you. Again, out of the 182 certificates, if there are any problems, make sure that you see either Mr. Magnuson or me after the ceremony today, and we will get you a brand new certificate without ears. It struck me when, especially when the young men were coming up to receive their awards today, some of them are wearing hats, and the reason they're wearing hats is we have Hat and Jean Day today, and they have contributed to a fund in order to wear those hats. Normally they don't have them on, they're just like perfect gentlemen around here, but I thought I should explain that since we have parents in the audience today. Before we begin with the awards, I see that one of our honored young ladies has joined us now, Miss Debbie Ladensack. Debbie, would you like to give a little wave over there? As I mentioned earlier, or as I began to mention and then realized Debbie wasn't here yet, back in 1995, Debbie got together, she recognized the talented people that we had here at school and knew that she wanted to do something to honor those young adults each and every year. This is our 5th year. We're eternally grateful, as I mentioned earlier, for Debbie's brainchild and for her working together with Mr. Magnuson to make this become a reality. Mrs. Ladensack is going to be up here a bit later in the program with a special presentation to make. This is the first year that we've instituted 2 special awards. They're going to be known as Best of Show Awards. One is going to be presented by Mrs. Ladensack. It will be referred to as the Deborah Ladensack Best of Show Award, and it will be awarded to a writing entry. Likewise, Mr. Magnuson will be presenting the Scott Magnuson Best of Show Applied Art Award, and those will be presented toward the end of today's program. You'll receive a certificate today, and then a plaque will be permanently placed somewhere within our building. We haven't determined an exact site yet, but it will be placed there with your name on it, and hopefully this will be a tradition that continues for many years to come. Applied Art winners. Mr. Magnuson is going to be presenting those, and I am going to attempt to run his slide projector over there. Wish me luck, please.
Welcome. Can everyone hear me? Now can everyone hear me? Okay. First of all, I want to thank Ms. Barrett for all that she's done this year. We inducted her into this job, and I think she did a wonderful job, and I'd like you to give her a round of applause. I told her the job is for life, so she has to come back next year. First of all, I would like to make a notation on the senior portfolio little sections that we have over on this side of the gym. We started this last year, and we're going to try to make this a tradition. If you're a senior and you're planning on going away to an art school, or if you'd like to display your artwork, then I hope you'll be able to display your work next year. I'd also like, before we do the slides, to apologize that some of the slides didn't come out as well as I would like them to have, but bear with me. 2 other awards that I want to present just before we start the slides are we had 2 winners at this year's Scholastic Art Awards in the fall, and I'd like to present them certificates. It's an art competition that we, as St. Clair County participants, enter. We share it with Macomb County and Lapeer County. It's a very prestigious art show, and it's very hard to get into the show, let alone win an award. So I'd like to present those two, and if you'd come up and get your certificate. First of all, for Certificate of Merit for her painting, Natalie Holly. And this year we had one silver medal for a pencil drawing, Tina Aston. Make sure that you keep this contest in your mind. Any of these pieces that you have in this show can also be entries for next year's Scholastics. Okay, on to the awards. The first category that we'll be giving an award for is painting, 9th and 10th grade. And our third place goes to Crystal Brown for a beautiful, expressive brushstroke painting called Blue Stream Bridge. Will you come up? Just so you know, that third place gets a t-shirt with our logo on it and a chocolate bar, and second place gets a $20 check, and first place gets a $40 check. So for second place, for painting 9th and 10th grade, Garrett Grindle, for his watercolor called Kim's Lilies. And first place goes to Amy Hart for her watercolor, The Garden Path. In the same category, painting, 11th and 12th grade, third place goes to Amanda Stein for her oil painting called Two Dryads. Second place goes to a watercoloring ink called Imagination by Tina Aston. And first place goes to another watercolor by Kim Smalden. I'll hang on to the check for Kim. For pencil and ink, 9th and 10th grade, third place goes to a pencil drawing called Untitled by Micah Etzel. Second place for pencil and ink for 9th and 10th grade goes to Tim Wessel for his tiger. And first place goes to Tony Gans for high school days. For pencil and ink for 11th and 12th grade, third place goes to Amanda Stein, an ink drawing called The Mermaid. Second place goes to a pencil drawing called Untitled by Keisha Castillo. First place for pen and ink goes to Samantha Dodge for Platinum Aphrodite. On to photography. This is a combined group for 9th through 12th. Third place goes to a beautiful picture called The Wall by Andrea Lofquist. Second place to another color photograph called The Curious Caterpillar by Samantha Dodge. I think I gave you another one. And for first place, a picture called Point Iroquois Lighthouse 2 by Nicole Ruthier. Okay, the next category is going to be a combined group called Ceramic Sculpture for 9th and 10th. Third place goes to A Sculpted Head by Joe Pung. Second place goes to a plaster cast mask called Goat by Chad Langoff. And first place for a paper mache project called A Sleeping Serpent, Kelly Latarte. Okay. She was here earlier. For ceramics and sculpture, 11th and 12th. For third place goes to a Raku-fired piece of ceramics called Depression by Bridget Newton. For second place, another sculpted ceramic head called Depression by Natalie Holly. In first place goes to an assemblage called Inferno of the Mind by Samantha Dodge. Now our last two categories are other media. These are projects that will be not listed so far. Third place for 9th and 10th goes to a piece called Cactus and Desert by David Brown. Second place goes to a paper mache project called The Guitar by Mike Rucker. And first place goes for paper mache called Coyote Cry by Christina Snyder. Okay, our last category is other mediums for 11th and 12th. Third place goes to a batik, a dyed cloth called Freedom by Jason Myron. Second place goes to a Roman mosaic called Color Indulged Water by Nicole Costa. And the last Applied Art Award goes to first place for Medieval Metal, Natalie Holly. I know that the 6 judges that came in and gave their time to do this was a very hard job, and I'd like to thank those judges for doing that. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Barrett.
Back. Diversification Committee. Several months ago, a group of staff members and students got together and decided that we would like to do something at Fort Huron High School to celebrate our individual differences. We've been very richly blessed with students from various cultural backgrounds, and we thought it would be a wonderful idea to recognize those cultures and point out our similarities, our commonalities. Even though we may come from different backgrounds, there are still wonderful things that we share in common, and there are a lot of wonderful things that we can learn about one another. During the course of that month-long celebration in March, we offered a written and applied art contest to students that would like to enter. And I would especially like to thank Mrs. Christine Sackrider, who encouraged her classes to really become involved in this endeavor, and they produced some beautiful work. Poems are displayed in the back of the room there, hanging from the basketball hoop, and I also have 3 entries here in front that we as a staff committee decided were probably the winners of the group. They were all winners, but we had to draw the line somewhere, and we decided that there were 3 that we would be calling our real winners for this contest. These have been framed and matted, and they will be hanging in the hall somewhere. Again, the wall is yet to be determined, but they will be permanently on display. But Mr. Magnuson is going to hold them up and award the cash prize. We had a tie as far as artistic creations were concerned, and the tie was between Megan Kraft, who did a drawing depicting different hats from different cultures, which I thought was extremely clever. Megan, if you'd like to come up and accept your cash prize, please. And Mike, excuse me. And our second artistic creation was a map painting done by Mr. Mike Recker. Mike, would you please come up? And our poem that the committee decided they would like to have matted and framed belonged to Miss Elizabeth Rutledge. And I'd like to read to you her poem after she comes up here, called The Tapestry. Actually, it would probably be better if I could talk Elizabeth into reading her poem. Could I do that, Elizabeth?
The tapestry. Just as the different threads and fibers of a tapestry are woven into one creation, different when separate, together as one. Each culture in our society maintains some of its own traditions and values while at the same time changing through interacting with others, different when separate, powerful as one. By looking at each thread of the tapestry separately, it becomes easier to see how they all come together as one.
She's not only a wonderful poet, but excellent at impromptu also. Thank you, Elizabeth. I certainly appreciate that. Now, on to the Fine Art Award winners. And we will begin with 9th and 10th grade poetry. And our third place winner is Miss Tracy Dobbs for her poem entitled Pinion. As I mentioned, our judges had a very difficult time determining place winners, and because of that, we have a second third place winner, and that is Miss Autumn Scheimer for her poem entitled Tones and Reactions. Autumn. Second place poetry for 9th and 10th grade belongs to a poem entitled Dishes by Miss Kathy Simmons. And first place was a poem in the form of a letter called Mom, written by Miss Melinda Schuster. 11th and 12th grade poetry. Third place award winner, Miss Kim Bloink for her endeavor entitled Life is a Game of Pretend. Second place belongs to a young man who I'd like to consider my personal hero, and this is Mr. Stephen Webb in his poem entitled Me. And first place, a name that you've heard mentioned earlier today, Miss Nicole Routhier and her Dr. Seuss poem, A Trip Back to Childhood. If you haven't already done so, please stop by our poetry display before you leave today and make sure that you take a look not only at these poems, but all the poems that are over there. They're simply phenomenal. Our judges certainly had a difficult time. 9th and 10th grade fiction. Second place winner is Karen Langloff for Voices. And our first place winner in 9th and 10th grade fiction belongs to Miss Brandy Standifer for her work entitled My Mother, My Angel. '11th and 12th grade fiction. Third place awards, again, we had two winners in this category. First, we had Julie Crimmins for The Ingenue. And Stephen Webb's entry, The Darkness. Second place, Miss Stephanie Flanagan, Kaylee's Revenge. And first place, Miss Tina Aston, Through the Years. And again, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you stop by our fictional display here in the front of the room. Nonfiction. Because of the number of entries we had, we combined 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th for this category. And our third place winner is Miss Sarah Cisco for her entry, The Lights in the Window. Second place honors go for an entry entitled Past the Mission by Miss Tina Aston. And our first place entry was written by a senior who is very typical at this time of the year in her longing to finally leave high school and get on with her life. And her entry was entitled, I'm a Senior, Give Me a Walker and Get Out of My Way by Nicole Routhier. Nonfiction in the back of the room again. Take an opportunity to browse if you haven't already done so. My final category belongs to audio and video. We have two first place winners and we have two second place winners. Our judges once again had a very, very difficult time with this. Our first place winners are Dawn Hedberg for both writing the lyrics and the music and performing a song entitled The Friend. Dawn? And our second first place winner, Miss Karen Langloff, for her rendition of If You Love Me. Second place, a young lady performed a public service announcement on teen suicide, and that was Danielle Kibble. Danielle, would you please come forward? And our second place winner was Mr. Patrick McKeever and the Magic Show. I don't believe Patrick's with us this morning, but we'll give him a round of applause anyway. Okay, that concludes the awards that I have to give, and now those two special awards that I mentioned to you earlier. I believe we'll begin with Mrs. Deborah Laban-Sack. Debbie, would you please come up here?
Morning. It's really an honor and a privilege for me to be here with you once again. As Ms. Barrett said, 5 years ago when we put this Fine Arts Festival together, we had no idea that year after year it would be so well accepted, and year after year we'd be able to honor so many wonderful artists here at Fort High School. When I was asked to think about an award such as this that will be mounted on the wall on a plaque year after year, I thought, oh, how wonderful. It really makes art shine even more at Fort High School. So you have your academics, you have your athletics, and you have your art, and you're good at it. I was very privileged to be able to read all of the writing entries. I was a judge, and one of them stands out in my mind as by far the best for this year, and I had a lot of laughs when I read it. And I know that this young lady has been in the Fine Arts Festival for all of her 4 years at the high school, and it was a wonderful piece. And I'm keeping you in suspense a little bit. It's a nonfiction piece. It's about senioritis. Nicole Luthier, would you come up, please? Here's just a couple of her secondary headlines from her piece. I thought you might enjoy hearing a couple of them. Miss Barrett said her title, "I'm a senior, give me a walker and get me out of here," was the first indication that you were in store for some really good writing. "I'm a senior, where's my discount?" She talks about news points. "Sweet freedom, here's a car." All the things you can think of as a senior. "Sag your pants and raise the roof." "Get me out of the house." They put her in with third graders, reflecting on some work she does with some third graders. "Oh, I need one of those and one of those and one of those." The whole thing is very hilarious and very well written. Very talented young lady. Thank you.
I was also pleased to be able to present the Best of Show. It was very hard to actually pick one out of all the winners. One definitely stood out. I want to make sure that everyone knows that everyone that entered this year's show was a winner. I'm very pleased with what we have in the show this year. But for this year's Best of Show, it's for a pencil drawing by Samantha Dodge. Now that we're at the very end of our ceremony, I'd like to let everyone know that if they have a piece of artwork, that they can pick it up and take it home. We're in the midst of cleaning up the gym at this point. So if you would do that, we'll let you go. Thank you very much.